What's up everyone, OJ here, welcome back to another video. Today we've got some awesome information for you guys, so let's go ahead and get right into it. And we're starting off with the NPD sales for April 2019. One thing to note here guys, the NPD is only the United States, it's not all of North America, it's not South America, it's not this whole hemisphere of the world, it's just the United States, okay? And some of the digital sales aren't tracked when it comes to things. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about something that has seldom been seen. We have not seen this since 2017 on the Nintendo Switch, and that is a third-party game on the Switch that actually sold the most on the system, which is crazy, right? You usually just see Nintendo first-party games. This is the first time that it's happened since 2017, and we'll get into the details in terms of what game that was. So Mortal Kombat 11 became the second best-selling game of 2019 year to date. Mortal Kombat 11 was the best-selling game of the month on all platforms which it was released. Mortal Kombat 11 is the first time a third-party published Switch game was the platform's top seller since Mario plus Rabbids. So that is the unprecedented thing that we've seen so far when it comes to Nintendo Switch. Mario plus Rabbids also had Mario in the title, so of course that was going to be something that people looked at if it was a good game. So seeing a game that's not tied to Nintendo back in terms of licensing or anything like that be the #1 game on the Nintendo Switch sold, and also the #1 game in the overall sales for the NPD, is something that doesn't happen very often, and it's really cool to see. So Mortal Kombat 11 is selling well on the Nintendo Switch, and we know it's selling well because it actually outsold Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now there is a little bit of an asterisk by that because Super Smash Bros. Ultimate did not have digital sales counted, but it still sells a lot of physical units here in the US every single month because Joker just came out recently and everything, so I'm pretty sure people were rushing out there to buy it. I know for a fact that it is a good selling game every single month, so to see Mortal Kombat 11 sell more than Super Smash Bros. On the Nintendo Switch in its debut month is actually really good. And it's not like Mortal Kombat came out at the very beginning of the month or anything like that. It came out at the end of the month, so fantastic to see that people were going out there and picking up Mortal Kombat 11 on the Nintendo Switch. Now, is this going to change anything for Western developers going forward now that they're seeing a game have success? No, not really. They're still going to do what they do when it comes to it. If they can get a Switch port of something, they'll get a Switch port of something. Most of them will just continue to ignore or put older stuff on the Switch. I don't think this is going to change anything too much, but it does give confidence in Warner Bros. To continue at least investing into Nintendo Switch and continue updating Mortal Kombat 11 and giving us maybe some new games in the future when it comes down to it. So pretty cool there when it comes to Nintendo Switch. Now with the top 20 best-selling software, you guys can all see it right here. Do want to point out that of course Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was #5. You guys know that's one of my favorite games on the Nintendo Switch. Also, Final Fantasy X/10-2 HD Remaster, that debuted at 16. Not bad. That's probably mostly the Nintendo Switch version of the game from what I understand. And it's also good to see the Eternal Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild when it comes to Switch stuff on here. You also have some of the same old usual suspects like Grand Theft Auto, NBA 2K19, Black Ops, Red Dead Redemption, Mario Kart 8. All that's on there, so you guys can check out the whole sales here. And I do want to move on to another thing that the Nintendo Switch accomplished this past April, which is the 6th month in a row that the Nintendo Switch has been the top selling platform here in the US. We have a little bit of a leaked roughly estimate of what each system sold, so I do want to go over all of that. So the Xbox One was at 106,000 units sold, the PS4 was at 148,000 units sold, and the Nintendo Switch was #1 at 227,000 units sold for the month, which is absolutely fantastic considering that there wasn't a ton of new releases on the Switch. There was a lot of ports and remasters and stuff like that that were new releases, but in terms of new games, Mortal Kombat was pretty much it, and it did pretty well. And that was actually up about 33% from last year because I think it was about 170,000 units. So good stuff to Nintendo on that one. And things are going to pick up drastically more next month with Super Mario Maker 2 coming out at the end of the month. So that's going to be a really good month for Nintendo heading into E3 and everything. And E3 is going to hype people up to buy Nintendo Switch as well, because I'm pretty sure there's going to be some nice bombshells there. But to see Nintendo Switch once again sell the most kind of just goes to show you that there is room on the market for a different type of system. Yes, the Nintendo Switch doesn't get everything the PlayStation 4 gets and the Xbox One gets. Me, I've already accepted that. I've got a PlayStation 4, I've got an Xbox One. It's cool to get games that don't come on Nintendo Switch on those platforms, but Nintendo Switch does something different, and that's good. I think that's good for the industry. We'll see that Nintendo can kind of take this hybrid type of device and evolve it into something different. We'll see what they do going forward in the future. future, and we'll see what other developers decide to kind of put games on there. I think that these great sales obviously can't be ignored, and we're seeing a lot of Japanese developers hop on with games, and Mortal Kombat 11 definitely is opening some eyes around the industry. So it's good to see that Nintendo Switch is doing so well, and I think it's going to continue right through the summer because there is a lot of big games coming out that are really going to help the Nintendo Switch out. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to move on to some other sales news, guys. We got the Famitsu sales chart that just recently was posted, and there really wasn't much of movement across the board when it comes to Famitsu sales, but I did want to talk about it because it has some stuff in there, and also it looks like the PlayStation 4 is kind of fading kind of quickly there, and I don't think there's going to be anything coming up that's really going to boost stuff too much. Now, if you look at the top 10 software sales, you guys can see that right here. We have the Ease Memories of Celceta from Nihon Falcom, and that didn't do too well, only about 13,000, almost 14,000 units. That's not really well. I know it's like a re-release, but still not really doing that well, but that's okay. It's a re-release, so it's not like they were expecting like a ton of units anyway, although their other re-releases have done better than that. So there you go on that one. But Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, 8,000 units. Once again, not necessarily the greatest, but the game, how old it is, and how it's still selling up there. And next week, it might be the top selling game because I don't think there's any new releases coming out next week in Japan. But this whole list is pretty much dominated by the Nintendo Switch. You do have Days Gone in at number 5. That game continues to do okay in Japan. Not too bad, heading towards 170,000 units. But just seeing Super Smash Bros. At over 3 million units at this point is nuts. Seeing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild continue to be in the top 10 despite being 2 years old plus is also really cool, and that's what I love the most and why I wanted to point it out, because here in the US NPD, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is in the top 20. In Japan, it's pretty much in the top 10 every single month. I think the lowest it's dipped is like 15 or something like that, but it's always in the top 20, so that's always good to see. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe continues to sell, even though Super Mario Maker 2 is coming out next month, which is just very, very funny. And of course, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, Minecraft, Mario Kart, the same old usual suspects when it comes to it. But I do also want to talk about the Japanese hardware sales as well. We talked about the PS4 kind of fading quite a bit. It sold less than 10,000 units. It pretty much outsold all the other systems in Japan combined, with 32,564 units. Now the Nintendo Switch lifetime sales are at 8,158,201 units. So why is this important? Well, Japanese developers are seeing this growth, they're seeing how well it's doing, and they're pretty much going to be putting a lot of projects on the Nintendo Switch. For example, we're seeing stuff like God Eater 3 come over faster, Dragon Quest Builders 2, games like that, which are going to be coming out very soon here, have Nintendo Switch planned instead of it skipping Nintendo platform like it usually did before years ago. So I'm really happy to say that the Japanese game industry is a little bit rallying when it comes to Nintendo Switch and putting out some of their bigger games on the system. We still need some more stuff, right? I mean, there's still some games that are missed here and there, but I think that if the sales continue like they're doing, which I'm pretty sure that they will with Super Mario Maker, with God Eater, with Dragon Quest Builders, with all these games coming out, which Dragon Quest Builders is actually already out in Japan, but the US release is coming out here. But I think that with all of these Japanese games coming out and doing well, not only in Japan, but also here in the US, we're going to continue to see these Japanese developers put games on the Nintendo Switch, and that's exciting to see. It's exciting to see a lot of the games that I like the most coming over to the system. God Eater was somewhat, I want to say, a complete surprise, but it was interesting to see how fast they got that one ported over. I know Hollow Realization pretty much comes out this week or next week. It's one of those two. I think it's this week when it comes to Japan and also here in the West too. So that's exciting. Then Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet's also coming as well. So seeing more and more of these Japanese games come over because of the great sales of the Switch is good to see. Now going forward, a lot of you guys have asked me what games do I want to see from Japanese developers. On the community page, on my main homepage, a lot of you guys were asking me to talk about the Japanese games and which ones I do want to see come over. And really, to me, I kind of want to see new and original experiences. I mean, if you're looking at these sales here, we've seen a lot of original experiences developed for the PlayStation 4 in mind. So I would like to see the same thing happen for the Nintendo Switch. And I think stuff like Monster Hunter Stories would be a prime example of something that could come over to Nintendo Switch and build a whole new audience on there, because it's only on the 3DS and I think it's on mobile and smartphones. Maybe we see some more stuff like Ninjala come out. I think games like that are going to be titles that Japanese developers put on the system because of the great sales. Bandai Namco is making like Ninja Box, stuff like that as well, which is kind of like a weird Minecraft but like action type of game that's a little bit interesting and quirky. So more games in that type of line, and probably more games just in general in terms of ports from the Japanese developers because of the great sales of the Nintendo Switch. So overall, Great to see. So what do you guys think about all this when it comes to the NPD sales, Mortal Kombat accomplishing something that is very seldom seen on Switch at all? What do you guys think about the Famitsu sales and what's going on there and how that's going to impact the Japanese game development and what we're going to see on Switch going forward? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.